Maybe we should read your fortune. We've got the cards. Then put up the north corner, the east corner, the west corner, and the south corner. These are the four winds and the four corners of the earth. They represent the forces of the world and how they act upon us. And the past, the future, and the present goes in the middle. That answers any immediate question we might have. Let's say, what's our question? I'm taking a trip, let's say. How is this trip going to turn out? Well, let's see. First, we'll look at the four corners of the earth. We have got, what one is this? The half pipe. We'll see what this card means. The half pipe is our control, up and down. Both can be a thrill, but you can crash going either way. The half pipe represents the fine line between in control and out of control, and that line is always moving. So that tells us on our trip we're gonna have issues of being in and out of control. So we better watch it. And let's see what the South has to say about us. The Art of Deception is that card. Turning on my index. I should have these memorized sometime, but never bothered to. The Art of Deception. What we hide from the world. Making someone see what they want them to see. Presentation is everything to this art. Ask if what you know to be true is true. Take nothing for granted and reveal of yourself only what you want to be seen. All right, so that taken in conjunction with our trip, with the ups and downs of our trip, we got to play our cards close to our vest. We can't, when we're out on the trip traveling, we can't be too open all the time. We might get taken advantage of. So we let them see only what we want them to see. And then the other part of the world, the west part of the world, let's see, the creepy field. And the creepy field is all about the failure of our reason. A shiver up the spine lets you know that you are walking in the creepy field. The dark moving shadow that thrills and frightens us. The creepy field is in that area where reason has no place, and primal fear is the Dark Lord. So on our trip, we're going to find things that creep us out. We got to be careful of the ups and downs the trip brings us, because of there's dark things out there, and we got to play our cards close to our vest and only reveal what we want to feel. Let's see what the last thing the world has to say to us is. The future parking lot. Let's see what the future parking lot is. The future parking lot. What we see when we look ahead. What isn't always what will be, and the future holds different hopes for different people. The future parking lot is a symbol of how people can see things not as they are, but as they want them to be. You can meet a person and fall in love with their potential, but not who that person is. You can buy a house or dresser not for what it is, but what you think it will be. The value of things changes with time, but just remember, so do values. So this is another, the future parking lot is telling us to see things for what they are, what they will be. So let's look ahead. When we're on this trip, let's not just take things willy-nilly as they are. We have to look ahead and see what's coming up. Otherwise, what we think is a forest might be a parking lot by the time we get there. Okay, so now we have the past. This is how our own past influences us in this card. It's the barrier. And we'll look at that one. The barrier is that which stops us. The barrier is what stops us from doing things, holding us back. It can be a physical search, such as a body of water that keeps us from the other side. It can also be the incorporeal. Our fear that keeps us from finding a way across the water. Okay, so the barrier, our past is our own barrier on this trip. So we have to beware of holding ourselves back as well. It's our own past that holds us back on this trip we're taking, not necessarily someone else, but ourselves. And the future. Dog bites man. Let's take a look at this one. What does the future hold for us on this trip? The dog bites man is about the expected and facing the expected. The unexpected gets all the press, but facing the expected is a skill we all must master. Every day there are mundane things that crop up time and again that we must handle. Maintenance must be done to our bodies and minds. Can you do this? Can you handle the basics? Whether through planning or not planning, the expected always arrives. So that's what dog bites man is. So in our future on this trip, we got to make sure we got things locked down that we know we can handle. Because there's going to be the expect. We have to look. The world is going to force us to evaluate what's coming ahead, but we got to be ready for what we know is coming too. And finally, the middle card is the present, which is antique. This is us, the present of us on our trip. And the antique means the past is now. The antique is about the past revealing who we are. We cannot understand the now without understanding the then. The future will take care of itself, and if we embrace the past as our guide to the present. All the world is a circle, so look for cycles in life. That is antique's key to understanding. Things can have intrinsic value that rarely change with time. Prize them. The antique is about perception, being able to see things as they are. The absence of illusion through the clear vision of tradition. So the antique, the key to our whole trip is understanding what has gone on our trip before and valuing it. Seeing, let's say wherever we're going, we have to learn about it. We have to learn about the place we're going. We have to learn about the things we're going to see. And we have to learn about the past of the people in our trip. So let's sum up how our trip is going to go and what we have to do. What did our fortune-telling cards tell us here? They told us that we're going to have ups and downs. We got to manage them. They're telling us to be careful. Don't reveal too much of yourself to strangers because you never know who's after what. They're telling us that we're going to run into some dark fears of our very own because of the unknown and because we'll be in a strange place where we don't know how things are done. So we've got to be on our toes to not let our own fear overcome us. And we got to look ahead and plan on what things are going to be like, not what we think things are like now. And finally, our own past. Our own past can hinder us from having a good time on our trip, so watch out for us. And plan for all the things you can plan for, because there's plenty you can plan for. And finally, with our trip, we have to put some time in beforehand and learn about the place we're going to go so that we can have a good time. So there it is. There's my first fortune-telling session here with my fortune-telling cards. Hope you had a good time with them.